Here we are again, folks. Brother Peter with tidbits from the Word. So proud to be with you today. We are going to look at one more proverb today, and it's going to be in chapter 10, and it's going to be one of the Proverbs of Solomon, and it's going to be a song of Solomon. Let me tell you a little story that I learned a while back, that the shepherds on the mountains, they would come together to a watering hole or in a place, and when they left that place, they would sing to each other. They would sing a goodbye. They would sing a pleasantry. And I wish I could find right quick where that was. And I don't remember where I was reading it, but it was a courtesy. It was a farewell. It was a farewell song. And they would say, goodbye. Goodbye. God bless you. And they would sing this farewell song, and it would echo through the mountains. And it would be so beautiful and so nice, especially in the wintertime when it's crisp and cold and the snow on the ground, and it would just reverb out through. And what the shepherds did, and the custom is that in singing these farewells and in the crystal air, and the song would carry long distances. You know how, for instance, as we were children and we saw this movie called Heidi, we didn't have the opportunity to go to the mountains where we could actually hear it, but we heard it in the mountains, and we saw it on film. But they would holler, whoa, 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 and it would echo back, whoa, 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 and whoa, 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 down through the valley. And these guys would sing to each other while they could see each other. They were saying, farewell, my brother, farewell, and they're waving. But as they get out of sight and they're singing, they change their custom a little bit, and they sing praises. Let us praise his name. See, these guys lived within themselves with God in them and on them. Their worship was to God. They were by themselves, out there at night, in the pitch dark. Wolves, bears, lions, tigers, in that day, early in the Bible days. I know there's no lions over there now in around Israel, but there were back in the Bible days. And there were bears. How you know that? Well, I can tell you this. David said he killed a lion and he killed a bear. And Samson said he killed a lion too, and he killed a bear. And so here we have those that kill lions and bears over there. So they were there. But they've got extinct now. But as these guys would go, and then they would change it, to change their words at the last, and sing good nights. Good night, good night, good night, good night. And it would echo, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, till you couldn't hear it anymore down in the valley. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Here you are, out there by yourself. And in passing another shepherd, you have a few minutes of conversation. And you're not so alone. You think, well, I'm the only shepherd out here with these sheep. No, there's other shepherds. Isn't it wonderful to meet another Christian during the day? You say, am I the only one out here doing this? Where are the other 9? Jesus said, were there not 10? And 1 came back? Where's the other 9? I ask that question. Are you one of the 9? Are you the one that's there during the day, that's answering the call of Jesus? It's making sure that every single person you work around has the same opportunity you had to go to heaven? Are you making sure that if a man tells you a dirty joke, you can say very politely to him, very nice, do you know something, sir? What's that? I used to tell those jokes. But Jesus saved me one day, and he took all that stuff away from me. And now I don't have to have that to enjoy life. And I really would rather if you didn't tell me any more of those. And you've done it very politely, very nicely. You haven't really, in a big sense of the word, offended him. I tell you what he's going to do. When God convicts him, he's going to come to you. And he's going to let you know he's under the conviction of the Lord. And ask you, what do I do to be saved? You know something? You need to be prepared to tell him. If you're not prepared, you shouldn't be in the fight. You're not worthy to be in the fight if you're not prepared. You need to be prepared. While we're on the subject, let's meddle a little bit. Are you a saved person? If you are, do you go to Sunday school? Well, see, I'd have to get up a little too early. I go to the coffee house in the morning for church. Well, I got some more news for you, too. If you would come to church with an empty stomach and the thoughts of listening to the preacher, you could concentrate on what he's saying more than if you come with a full stomach, growling at you, and saying for a half hour or so you're listening to the preacher, I wish I hadn't ate all that. And what's ironic, in today's living system, the way it is, what's ironic is that 3 hours ago or less you ate, and you're going to go eat dinner afterwards. In a sumptuous place on Sunday, you're going to take your wife to a good restaurant where they have good, nourishing, fattening food. We need to get our priorities straight. Let's look at chapter 10 of Proverbs, the saying of Solomon. I started there, and it's a song. He's singing this, the Proverb of Solomon. A wise son maketh a glad father. I wished I could sing. If I could sing, I'd sing this whole thing to you. But a foolish son is grief to his mother. Do we not have today a world full of grief for their mothers? Parental grief today. Even in the church. Parental grief, even in the church. Deeply felt by mothers and fathers. Deeply felt by immediate relationships with other people. That you have this deep problem in your house, in your place. Wow. We need to be careful today how we're raising our children, my friends. The treasures of the wicked profit nothing. Wow. For a while the wicked may seem to realize their desires, but the end of it. God said that those dollar bills, those bucks, that money, that stuff, everything you piled up is going to be weighed against you in the fire. The fires of hell. The more you have piled up when you go to hell, the harder the fires are going to be in the place where you are. Do you think, Brother Peter, you're saying there's degrees in hell? I sure am. There's degrees in heaven. He that giveth little is going to get little. He that giveth much is going to be responsible for much. That's a degree. Degrees in heaven. And there's going to be degrees in hell, degrees of heat. Verse 3. The Lord will not allow the righteous soul to famish, but he casteth away the desire of the wicked. Man. Let's see what that says. For a while they may seem to realize the desires, but the end thereof is death and separation from God forever. Wow. That's a tough one. He who has a slack hand becomes poor. He's saying here, if you're a lazy man, don't expect anything but poverty. We live in a day to day, though, in our country, in the United States of America, where people can not work, be lazy, fill out a piece of paper, lie on it, and the government feed them, put them in a house, pay their electric bills. They can go down the store and buy cigarettes on a card. They can talk on a telephone. My wife said something that's a little bit ugly in a sense. She said, you go to any other country and take your God over there with you, the God of heaven, and they'll kill you. But you can come from another country over here and bring your false God with you and cry poverty, and they'll give you a telephone, 3 meals a day, a roof over your head, pay your light bill, and give you a phone to talk on. That's the difference between living in a free country and a communist country. Let's get back, or a pagan country. Let's get back in the book. He who sleeps in the harvest is a son who causes shame. There is a time to harvest. The world that you and I live in the United States of America, if you live in America, is you work 5 days a week, at least, and you get a payday on Friday. And you take that payday and you apply it properly to where it's needed to be applied, and you live comfortably on what you make if you don't try to live over what you make. Now, we've been duped by the devil that credit cards are fine, when in actual fact they are the downfall of the country. The average person owes thousands of dollars on a credit card and never will ever pay them off. They will suffer throughout the rest of their life being behind, paying double interest, and pretty soon, if they were ever able to get the principal paid, they will still have a pile of interest, drawing interest, and they're paying on interest money that's on interest. So how you know that, Brother Peter? I had a falling out with a company not long ago, and I settled with them, and they found a $15 charge on my account. I have already paid over $50, and I've got a bill downstairs right now for $53, all on a $15 charge. And everything else had been settled. And if I let one more late charge get on it, the late charge goes up. There'll be $23 more on it. It will be over $100 when it comes in next time. All on a $15 charge. I can prove the adversity of the system by being in it and showing you the adversity of it. It will eat you alive. You nor I, nor even a wealthy man could handle paying interest on interest. All right, let's get back in the book. He who gathers in the summer is a wise son. He who sleeps in the harvest is a son who causes shame. Blessings are on the head of the righteous, but violence covered the mouth of the wicked. Wow. Violence is a word today that we hear every single solitary morning. I happen to live adjacent to Atlanta, Georgia. And in Atlanta, Georgia, every morning you're going to hear from 6 to 10 homicides. Between 6 and 10 homicides, 7 days a week. That is 7 times 10 is 70. That means 70 people in the city of Atlanta, Georgia, get killed on a weekly basis. That's 140 in 2 weeks. That's 280 in a month. Man, no wonder the funeral homes are getting rich. I had a friend one time I worked for, and he said, Pete, you want a guaranteed job? Be an undertaker. In this day and age, they're making the money. Blessings are on the head of the righteous, but violence covered the mouth of the wicked. Wow. Man. And that violence is there today. 7. The memory of the righteous is blessed, but the name of the wicked will rot. Wow. I hope that my memory goes on long enough when I die that people will get saved through the memory of me. But a prating fool, will fall. He who walks with iniquity walks securely. Integrity. He who walks with integrity walks securely. But he who perverts his way will become known. Whew. I walked in that perversion for years. And I was known as a perverted person for years. But God saved me and put me in an integrity walk. And I've tried to maintain and improve that walk. But those who have integrity, that's those who live what they believe, exist without fear from evil, being discovered, while those who perversely walk in wickedness are always worried about being discovered. The man that lives in wickedness is always worried about being discovered. Whew, I lived there. Now I know I don't have to. Verse 10, he who winks with his eye causes trouble, but a prating fool will fall. The mouth of the righteous is a well of life, but violence covereth the mouth of the wicked. We live in a violent world. We're living in a violent day. I'm having a serious problem. I need help from parents. I have 8 boys in my class. They're graduating, going from 5th to 6th grade. They all have these machines. And they all play them all week. And they all play the violence. Shooting, firing, airplanes, jets, stuff that's unknown to us of my age. They talk a language I do not understand. They sit down at the table and talk to each other. I do not understand what they're saying. They're talking about levels in these games of these horrid things that are going on. Of goblins and gooks and guns and machine guns and blasters and the one that gets them all at one time. I had a conversation with them last week. Boys, you stay in that for 10 years. You get on the street, somebody hands you a machine gun and says, shoot those people. You pull the trigger. And when it's all said and done, you'll say, I don't know why I did it. You did it because you've been practicing shooting people without a conscience for so long that you end up doing it in real life. Listen to Brother Peter. Let me help you. Turn your children from that stuff. Tell them they don't need to be. View the games that they're doing. See if they're not harmful to the mind the body and the soul. They may be harmful. See if they're not. Verse 11. The mouth of the righteous is a well of life, but violence covereth the mouth of the wicked. Hatred stirreth up strife, but love covereth all sin. Wow. True love seeks the highest good for another. If you have true love in your heart, you will look for the good for another. Suppose a man comes in the church. He just bought a brand new car. Are you going to say, boy, I wished I had one like that? Or are you going to say, I'm proud for you, brother, glad you got it? Are you going to be glad that he got it? Or are you going to say, boy, I wished I had one like that? 13. Wisdom is found on the lips of him who has understanding, but a rod is for the back of him who is devoid of understanding. Wow. We need to be careful, folks, to be understanding people. A good, I don't know how to say it. Your good offense is a good defense, or your good defense is a good offense. If you don't dabble in bad, you won't have bad. So you have to be defensive against it, bad, and defend against it, and put it down, and put it away. 14. Wise people store up knowledge, but the mouth of the fool is near destruction. Wow. The mouth of the foolish, a loose tongue. Do you know, we used to have that saying, they're a person, their tongue hangs in the middle and wags on both ends. And I've been that person before. And God has delivered me from that. And I'm trying to stay completely away from that as a destruction. That is a destructive policy for a man. Wise people store up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. The labor of the righteous leads to life. The wages of the wicked is sin. He who keeps instruction is in the way of life, but he who refuses correction goes astray. Whosoever hides hatred has lying lips. Hatred, slander. I can tell you this, if you're sitting on the right-hand side of the church, you have something against somebody on the left-hand side of the church, you cannot be right with God. And therefore you're a slanderer. If somebody should say something about Mrs. So-and-so, you will slander her. And if Mrs. So-and-so over there, somebody says something about you on the other side of the church, she will slander you. Both of you will be slanderers. The Bible said rectify that, correct it. Go to that person. I've done this. Oh, probably I've done this half a dozen times. I went to a person and I said, you remember 5 or 6 years ago when you did so-and-so? And they said, no. I said, well, that offended me. They said, I don't remember nothing about it. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to offend you. So 5 or 6 years I had harbored something that wasn't even true. They did not intentionally do anything. And I harbored it. It didn't bother them one bit. But it ate me alive. Now you're sitting over there on that side of the church being ate alive by something the other person probably, more than likely, 9 times out of 10, They have no idea what you're talking about when you go talk to them about it. None. No idea at all. And you've been harboring this all this time, and they ain't got no idea. It ain't hurt them one bit, but it's kept you from following God properly. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver. The heart of the wicked is worth little. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for lack of wisdom. The blessed of the Lord maketh one rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Wow. While having more than one needs, with wisdom is great results, and you don't have to be sorrowful for it. Do you know this? I went to Costa Rica a little while ago, and those folks live from day to day. They take their bicycle and they go to the grocery store and they get a meal and they bring it home and they cook it. And the next day, get on their bicycles and ride down and get a piece of bread at the bread place or something and eat it. They go get a little something to take home for dinner and they take it home and eat it. And that's the average poor man. And they have very little, but they don't have it with any kind of dross. It's all happiness. That little's good. My son figures them this way. Dad, he said to me, whatever you do, don't pity those folks. They're happy. They're like ants. Ants are happy. Ants do what they're supposed to do. They go and gather in the morning, bring it into the den for the night and for the winter. And they eat a little, and the next day they're on their trail again. And they're happy. And they go do what they do, and they come back, and they're happy. And if you don't disturb them, they'll be fine throughout their life. And this is the way these folks are. But now, there are some Americans Americanizing that place down there and disturbing it, and the prices are going up, and the poor folks can't pay the prices. An average working man down there that makes $20 a day, $100 a week for 5 days, cannot afford to drink a Coca-Cola. Cannot afford a $2 Coke. But because the Americans are around there, everything's going up. And what Americans are around there, by the way? It's the rich folks from America settling on the beaches down there and causing an influx of stuff to be able to go out and people to be able to charge more than they should for their own people. Therefore, it's causing a hardship on those people. To do evil is like sport to a fool, but a man of understanding has wisdom. The fear of the wicked will come upon him, and the desire of the righteous will be granted. When the whirlwind passeth by, the wicked is no more, but the righteous has an everlasting foundation. Wow. An everlasting foundation. Verse 27 of chapter 10 of Proverbs. The fear of the Lord prolongeth days, but the years of the wicked will be shortened. I see it every day. I see that every day. I see it every day. Hey, down there working in that hospital, I asked a lady today in there with a wheelchair picking up a person to take them out of the hospital. She kind of gave me the impression they're moving them early because they don't have room for any more. If the ambulances come in, there's no place to put them. The hospitals are all full. In the town that I'm working in, all the hospitals are full. There's no place to even bring an ambulance anymore. But the expectation of the wicked will perish. The way of the Lord is strength for the upright, but destruction will come to the worker of iniquity. The righteous will never be removed, but the wicked will not inhabit the earth. The mouth of the righteous bringeth forth wisdom, but the perverse tongue will be cut off. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked is perverse. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.